Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6. We are on text 50. Kurv adhavarasyo dharanam hatasya bho.
Guru adhavarasya udharanam hatasya bho.
Vasyamas tattva yasamapatasya mano prajapatehe.
Tavya asmaptasya mano prajapate.
Na yatra bhagam tava bhagino daduho.
Na yatra bhagam tav bhagino daduhu.
Kuyajino ke namako niniyate.
Puya jino yen makuni niyate.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord Shiva, you are a shareholder of a portion of the sacrifice, and you are the giver of the result. The bad priests did not deliver your share, and therefore you destroyed everything, and the sacrifice remains unfinished. Now you can do the needful and take your rightful share. So in the sacrifice, as we heard, the sacrifices, when they used to be performed, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh had to get their shares first. First, of course, Lord Vishnu gets his share. Then Lord Brahma, Shiva, then all the other demigods. And here, Daksha did not offer his share of sacrifice to Lord Shiva. So Brahmaji is telling him, come, let's finish the sacrifice. You please come and take your share. Jivatad yajamano yam.
Jivatat yajaman ayam
Prapadyeta bhagaha.
Akshin bhagaha.
Bhrago shma shruni rohantu.
Trigosham shruni rohantu.
Pushno dantascha purvavat.
Pushno danta chapurvat.
My dear Lord, by your mercy, the performer of the sacrifice, King Daksh, may get back his life. Bhaga may get back his eyes. Brigu, his mustache. And Pusha, his teeth. So, Yaja Manaha is referring to Daksha. He's the performer of the sacrifice. So Brahmaji is referring to him as Yajamanaha, the performer of the sacrifice. And how the Virabhadra had taken away all these eyes from Bhaga and mustache from Brigu and teeth from Pusha. So Lord Brahma is saying everybody can get all these things back. Devanam Bhagna Gatra Nam.
Devanam bhagna gatranam.
Ritvijam Chayudhashmabhihi.
Rijvijam cha ayudha ashmadhi.
Bhavatanugrahitanam.
Anigrahitanam.
Ashumanyo asva anaturam.
Ashumanyo astu anataram.
O Lord Shiva, may the demigods and the priests whose limbs have been broken by your soldiers recover from their injuries by your grace. Esha te Rudra Bhagostu.
Ishate rudra bhagastu.
Yat Uchisto Advarasya Vai.
Yasya uchusto advarasya vai.
Yagnaste Rudra Bhagena
यज्ञस्ते
यज्ञस्ते
रुद्रभागेन
रुद्रभागेन
Kalpatam Adya Yagyahan.
कल्पताम्
कल्पताम्
अद्वैतयज्ञः
अध्ययज्ञहम्
O destroyer of the sacrifice, please take your portion of the sacrifice and let the sacrifice be completed by your grace. A sacrifice is a ceremony performed to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the purpose of performing any yajna is to satisfy the Yajneshwar, and that is Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. That is the main purpose of performing any sacrifice. It's not supposed to be just for some ritual, or just some tradition. No, but to specifically to please the Lord. Any activity which is done, undertaken to please the Lord. So in this age of Kali, the sacrifice that we have been given is to the Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names of Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna. That is the path to perfection. In this and the chanting of the Hare Krishna, it is perfection and also the path to perfection. One time Prabhupada was asked, what will you gain by this chanting? Prabhupada said, more chanting, because it's the process and it's the goal. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, it is stated that everyone should try to understand whether the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by his activity. So Bhagavatam tells us, yes, you do your occupational duties, but if by performing our occupational duties, we do not come to the point of Krishna, then we are simply wasting our time. Bhagavatam is not saying don't do your duty. Bhagavatam is saying, yes, you do your duty, but by doing your duty, you have to come to Krishna. If you don't, then all the endeavor which you did to do your duty, that's a waste of time. And we should perform our duties in a way that Krishna will be pleased. Krishna says that he is the one um, who has created this Varna Sharma. Of course, we do not follow the Varna Sharma society as such. It's not that rigid, but yet we cannot give up our varna. We cannot give up our ashram in the sense we have certain nature. Based on a nature, based on our situation in society, we do certain activities. We have certain obligations. Those should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. In other words, the aim of our activities should be to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the crux of the matter. Krishna tells to Arjuna in chapter 9 Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do for me. Whatever you eat, whatever you give away, whatever you are doing, Krishna says, do it for me, offer the result to me, relate the activity to me. So what happens by doing this? We do not get the karma. We get automatically detached from the result of our karma, automatic detachment and automatic attachment to Krishna. We get attached to Krishna, we get detached from the material results. Just as in an office, it is the duty of the worker to see that the proprietor or the master is satisfied. So everyone's duty is to see whether the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by one's activity. Prabhupada puts it very nicely. We are working in the office. We have to please the boss. Otherwise, the boss is going to fire us. He's going to say, well, what are you here for? You're not needed. Of course, Krishna cannot banish us from any of the creation. We have to be either in the material world or spiritual world. And everything belongs to Krishna. But the idea is that the duty of every living entity is to please Krishna. And this, it's not that, it's only that, oh, we please Krishna and we are suffering, and it's in like how in the material world, oh, I have to please the boss, but I'm so unhappy myself, but I'm just doing it because I'm going to get money. The relationship between Krishna and us is not like that. It's completely based on love. It's a loving relationship. Out of love, the living entity wants to please Krishna. Out of love, Krishna wants to please the living entity. It's reciprocal. It's not one-sided. It's a reciprocation between Krishna and us. Activities to satisfy the Supreme Godhead are prescribed in the Vedic literature, and execution of such activities is called yagya. So yagya cannot be performed whimsically, or I just make up something. This is how I'm going to do it. No, it's mentioned in the Vedas how it's to be done, what's the time, place, what are the things that are needed. And so, because in Kali Yuga, the authorities knows, Krishna knows we are lazy, we are misguided, our minds are disturbed, our lives are so short, we are quarrelsome, we do not have enough of these resources by which to perform the yajna, these fire sacrifices. So the process they have given us is the most potent and the easiest. Just chant Hare Krishna. Anywhere, everywhere. There are not even hard rules and hard and fast rules for chanting the mantra. So that we can come to perfection, we have been given this Sankirtana, Yagya, the Hare Krishna mantra. In other words, acting on behalf of the Supreme Lord is called Yagya. One should know very well that any activity besides Yagya is the cause of material bondage. One should know very well that any activity besides yajna is the cause of material bondage. And what is yajna? Activities performed on behalf of the Supreme Lord, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So means all our activities we have to perform for the pleasure of Krishna. But now we are so attached, we are wanting to perform for our satisfaction. I want to do this because I will be happy. Then how to make this shift? Continue chanting. But continue chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Continue hearing and chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. And gradually, everything follows. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 9. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha. Karma bandhanaha. Karma bandhanaha means that if we do not work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, then the reaction of our work will bind us. This is the law of karma. The law of karma is there whether we believe in it or no, it will act. So any activity which we are doing for our satisfaction, that I want to enjoy the result of this activity, this is for me, that will keep us in the material world. But if the same activity we perform, well, this is for the pleasure of Krishna. I'm doing this activity for the pleasure of Krishna. Then it becomes yoga. It becomes yajna. It becomes a karma. Then someone hearing this may say, oh, well, then I won't do anything. I'm not going to do anything. Well, but we are going to talk. We are going to eat. We're going to do something. Can't do nothing. So that also Krishna says, do it for me. So that we don't get bound by karma. One should not work for his own sense gratification. Everyone should work for the satisfaction of God. That is called yajna. After the yajna was performed by Daksha, all the demigods expected prasad, the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Vishnu. Lord Shiva is one of the demigods, so naturally he also expected his share of the prasad from the yajna. But Daksh, out of his envy of Lord Shiva, neither invited Shiva to participate in the yajna, nor gave him his share after the offering. But after the destruction of the yajna arena by the followers of Lord Shiva, Brahma pacified him and assured him that he would get his share of prasad. Thus he was requested to rectify whatever destruction was caused by his followers. So as we just spoke, the yajna is performed for satisfaction of Vishnu. So first, and so all the oblations, or there's so many things that are offered in a yajna. So we can't even imagine how many things are offered. We have not even seen it. What we see in nowadays, it's it's not the way that the yajna would be done before. So it would be a lot and lot. So it's first given to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu accepts it, and then all the other demigods take their share of it. Like how we offer bhoga to Krishna, Krishna accepts it, and then he keeps it for us to accept as prasad. The Bhagavad Gita 3.11, it is said that the demigods are satisfied when one performs yajna. Because the demigods expect prasad from yajnas, yajna must be performed. Those who engage in sense gratificatory, materialistic activities must perform yajna, otherwise they will be implicated. So this is the Karma Kand section of the Vedas, where we are attached to the result of the fruits we want to enjoy. We are doing any activities because it's for me, for myself. Then the Vedas recommend to perform these yajnas. And by performing these yajnas, we are satisfying Lord Vishnu, and we are allowing the demigods also to take their share. Thus, Daksh, being the father of mankind, was performing yajna, and Lord Shiva expected his share. But since Shiva was not invited, there was trouble. By the meditation of Lord Brahma, however, everything was settled satisfactorily. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also that be happy by performing yajna. You perform yajna, the demigods will be satisfied. They will give you rain. Rain will give you food grains, and you can be living happily in this life. So different types of yajna are recommended for different ages. In different ages, and in this Kali Yuga, we are recommended the Sankirtan Yajna to satisfy everyone, the demigods, the Lord, all living entities, and of course ourselves. We always ask, what's in it for me? Why should I do something? By performing the Sankirtan Yajna, we get happy and everyone gets pleased, and we can get out of this material world. And more than that, we get the highest, the most valuable gift, which is there in everyone's heart, love of Krishna. Our relationship with Krishna, we can revive it. The performance of yajna is a very difficult task because all the demigods must be invited to participate in the yajna. In this Kali Yuga, it is not possible to perform such costly sacrifices, nor is it possible to invite the demigods to participate. Yeah, demigods don't come to this planet Earth in Kali Yuga because it's a very degraded age. They don't want to come here anymore. And whereas we see when these yajnas would happen, all the demigods would be present in such assemblies. So whatever yajnas are being done is 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 not the recommended process because we don't know how to do it properly. Therefore, in this age, it is recommended yajna sankirtana prayar yachanti hi sumedasaha. Bhagavatam says in Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. Those who are intelligent should know that in the age, in the Kali Yuga, there is no possibility of performing Vedic sacrifices. But unless one pleases the demigods, there will be no regulated seasonal activities or rainfall. Everything is controlled by the demigods under the circumstances in this age, in order to keep the balance of social peace and prosperity. All intelligent men should execute the performance of Sankirtan Yajna by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is needed. We see in all the previous ages, the responsible people of the society would perform the yajnas of whatever was meant for that Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapara Yug, whatever was meant. So in Kali Yuga, Bhagavatam says the intelligent people will take up the chanting of the Sankirtana, the, the Harinam Sankirtan. One should invite people, chant Hare Krishna, and then distribute prasad. This yajna will satisfy all the demigods, and thus there will be peace and prosperity in the world. So this is the way we can please all the demigods. There are 33 crore demigods. If we were to please them personally, how long would it take? If we were to please them individually, separately, how long would it take for us to please 33 crore demigods? First of all, they don't come to this earth in this age of Kali. But by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the demigods are pleased. They are satisfied. And when they are satisfied, they give us enough rain, they give us enough food grains, what, enough or whatever we need to maintain ourselves here in this world. And there will be peace and prosperity in the world. Another difficulty in performing the Vedic rituals is that if one fails to satisfy even one demigod out of the many hundreds of thousands of demigods, just as Daksh failed to satisfy Lord Shiva, there will be disaster. But in this age, the performance of sacrifice has been simplified. One can chant Hare Krishna, and by pleasing Krishna, one can satisfy all the demigods automatically. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, sixth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Brahma Satisfies Lord Shiva. So we can see that how by chanting Hare Krishna mantra we can satisfy all the demigods at once. And here Prabhupada is mentioning that if we fail to satisfy even one demigod, there's going to be havoc, there's going to be disaster, he's going to be not pleased. And then what are we going to do? How do we have the means to satisfy 33 crore demigods? Chant Hare Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes.
Did anyone
Yes.
want to add or comment?
No.
I'm just wondering, after all this that's happened, this destruction, havoc, what is Daksha doing? He still doesn't realize.
Right now he's dead. His head has been cut off.
Yeah, his head.
Okay.
Yeah, right now. But now we are going to see he's going to come back because the sacrifice has to be finished. Lord Shiva needs to get his share. So they're going to bring him back.
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.